What is up, all of my horror fanatics out there? Welcome back to Late Night Frights. I'm the Late Night Frights horror leader, the J. Sloan or Jordan, back here to do another video for you. And as always, guys, I want to thank everyone for tuning in this evening. Now, last week we did horror battles, and if you haven't checked that out, please go do so. It was a great week overall. So this week we are doing a theme. And the theme we chose to do for you is one that we have never done here on Late Night Frights before. It's something a little bit different, and we're doing our psychological horror theme. And if you don't know what a psychological horror film is, it's basically a film that it's very mind-twisting, mind-bending, gets deep into your psyche, makes you wonder what you just saw. It's usually a film you have to watch more than once to really grasp the concept of it. And there's a lot of films that fall into that category, a lot of films in that subgenre. And the one I picked to review is a John Carpenter film, and it is In the Mouth of Madness. Okay, so In the Mouth of Madness was made in 1994. This one is directed by my favorite horror director of all time, like I said before, John Carpenter, and this one has a great cast. This one's starring Sam Neill, Julia Carmen, Jurgen Prochnow. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce his last name, and for that I do apologize. This has got David Warner, John Glover, and Charlton Heston. Just a lot of great and familiar actors within this film. And the plot around this one follows a character named Sutter Kane. And we're introduced to this character to be much like a Stephen King character. He writes horror novels that's been scaring people for years, bestsellers. He is coming out with a new book called In the Mouth of Madness, and recently he has gone missing, and everyone is trying to find Sutter Kane. And the perfect man on the job is a man named John Trent, who is played by Sam Neill. Trent is I'm not exactly sure the right word, it escaped my mind. A freelance, that's the word, freelance. I'm not sure if he's an investigator, I completely forgot. His main occupation, I know what it is, it's just, it's escaping my mind at the moment. But, he tries to, pretty much he pulls dirt up on people. There's a scene that really shows how well he can do that and how well he is at being a con man. And he wants to find out what happened to Sutter Kane. He starts to read his novels, and it takes him down let's just say it takes him down a dark path. There is a town that only exists within his novels that he goes to try to find more research on Sutter Kane and where he could be. And he keeps diving deeper and deeper and further into madness. And until he finds the real truth, I'm not going to go any further than that, because to be completely honest with you, this is a very difficult movie to explain without spoiling it. The story is so bent, so weird, so wacky, but really great at the same time. It's one of those movies you will enjoy watching, but you're going to be completely just without words by the end of the film. It's pretty crazy, especially the ending. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say about In the Mouth of Madness. Now it is time for me to give my final thoughts over the film. I really, really enjoyed it. This was one of the few John Carpenter movies that I'd never seen until today, actually. I've owned it for a while and never got around to popping it in. I've heard good and I've heard bad things about it. It definitely feels like a John Carpenter film. I can feel, his vibe that he brings to it, his style of direction. It's all over the movie. It's just a different tone. It's not like Halloween, of course. It's nothing like Halloween or The Thing, although some of the effects in this were pretty cool. It's nothing like vampires, nothing like The Fog, really. it's a movie of its own, and I would say it's one of his underrated films, up there with Vampires and, shall I say, Ghost of Mars, which, yeah, I'm not going to say anything about that. It's not really underrated because it's not very good. No disrespect to John Carpenter, he is my favorite director, but In the Mouth of Madness, really, really enjoyed it. The cast was good. It's good to see Sam Neill in here. Liked his portrayal of Trent. Thought it was a really cool character, and especially the opening. It got me wondering. It got me wanting more. From the opening of the film to the end of the film, it's very interesting. It gets weird at times where you're really just scratching your head and you're like, what the fuck did I just see? You know, like, what is going on? Up until the end of the film, where it's just non-stop madness. That's really all I can say about it. Really like the antagonist, if you will, Sutter Kane, finding out what was going on with him and everything that he did, and you know, the reality in which his books take place, and what is going on in the world due to his books, and what his master plan is, and finding everything out was really cool. Great actors in this one, really, really good. Really cool seeing Charlton Heston in this one. Liked his character, very funny character, crazy character, but yeah, just a fun character. Seeing all the actors in this, they did a good job, and especially with the material they were given, I can see as an actor or an aspiring actor as I am, being given a script. In the Mouth of Madness, you pop the script open and you read this. To actually visualize what's actually going to happen on screen would be very, very difficult. Knowing John Carpenter's name was on this, though, I would have jumped in, you know, the drop of a hat. I would have, like, snapped my fingers and been there, because John Carpenter is amazing, and most of what he does is amazing, if not everything. There's one film, but really amazing director, amazing acting, amazing everything. The effects were good. Really like the vibe, too. Everything falls back in a film. It falls back on the vibe of the movie. What your interest is. If it's a slower paced movie, some people don't have attention spans to sit through those. I love long movies, love them. The more story, the more acting, the better. But some people just don't have that attention span. Some people don't have the tolerance for weird and wacky movies. Me personally, I really like them, depending on what they are. Some movies I fall out of interest in, depending on how crazy it actually goes. But this one kept that balance of good acting, good directing, good effects. Very weird and wacky, but good story, and that is In the Mouth of Madness, wrapped all in one. So there you go, guys. There's my review over In the Mouth of Madness. Really fun flick. I would highly recommend picking it up. Good Blu-ray transfer, and just really fun to watch this film finally and do my review over it and give you guys my full thoughts over the film. So, thank you so much for watching. You just watched Late Night Frights. Comment, subscribe, guys. Stay tuned. Tomorrow, Chris Brock will be reviewing a psychological horror film of his choice, and that will continue throughout the week with all of our members. Thank you so much for watching. I'm the Jay Sloan. Comment, subscribe, and as always, guys, keep it horror. Peace.